Beloved, welcome. If you are reading this right now, I truly believe it is not a random accident. Something kind and powerful, something bigger than us, has guided you to this exact moment. Today, this message is not just words you hear and agree with quietly. Today, you are fully allowed to let these words sink in, to really receive them deep into your heart. For such a long time, you have been living as if you are still in the middle of a fierce battle. Your shoulders are always tight with worry, your breath is often shallow, and you are constantly on hard guard, watching for the next problem. Your mind keeps practicing all the worst things that could happen, so you rarely even get to taste real peace. This is what happens when life teaches you over and over to always expect the next blow, the next hardship, the next piece of bad news. But I need you to hear this as clearly as possible. Heaven is not asking you to keep proving how strong you are. You do not have to keep showing your scars as proof that you can endure more. The great struggle that tried to give you a new name, like a broken or a not enough, has already been answered by a love much greater. The final verdict on your life has been spoken, and it is good. The battle for your soul, for your peace, for your future is completely finished. And now, right in this moment, you are being invited into a true and deep rest. Yes, it is true that your body may still remember the old tension. Your muscles might clench out of habit, remembering seasons of constant stress. Your spirit may still carry quiet bruises from things you don't even talk about anymore, tender places that ache when a memory surfaces. Your mind might still replay the hard scenes from your past, the difficult moments it took just to survive. But you must remember that victory does not always come with loud cheers and celebrations. Sometimes victory is simply this: you are still here, you made it. What was meant to erase you, to knock you down for good, did not win. As the gentle whisper of Scripture reminds us, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." That is from Matthew 11:28. The hardest part of your journey, the most difficult climb, is truly behind you. Now in this knowing, you can finally exhale that breath you've been holding for so long. Take a real moment and look back honestly, kindness for yourself. There were deep, dark nights when sleep completely escaped you, when your mind would not stop racing. In those quiet, lonely hours, your thoughts rehearsed every single reason it might just be easier to quit, to give up, to stop trying so hard. Then there were the long, exhausting days when you moved forward on pure instinct alone, operating on autopilot, utterly unsure if you even had the strength to show up again when tomorrow came. You wondered how you would put one foot in front of the other. And yet tomorrow kept arriving, the sun kept rising, and somehow, against all odds, you were still standing in the new light. You were still there to face it. That kind of endurance, that deep ability to keep going even when everything in you felt empty, does not come from mere human effort alone. It is deeper than your own discipline. It is stronger than your personal determination. It is a strength that was planted inside you, a resilience that was gifted to you for the journey. So now, let that old way of fighting settle down. You can unclench your hands. You can soften your gaze. The war is over. The peace you have been searching for is not a prize to be won after more striving. It is a gift to be received right now in this quiet moment. It is your inheritance. You do not need to earn your way into this calm. It is being offered freely. All those battles you fought with fear, with lack, with grief, with anxiety, they were real, but they do not get to define the rest of your story. Their noise is fading now, replaced by a profound and steady still. But here is the breathtaking truth. When God Himself declares a victory for you, it doesn't wait for visible proof in your circumstances. It doesn't need your bank account to be full, your relationships to be perfect, or all your problems to vanish first. His word operates on a different timetable. It moves faster than human awareness. He calls things that are not yet visible as if they already are. So His declaration of your freedom and rest is the most solid reality you have, even if your emotions haven't fully caught up to that truth. Remember the words of Scripture. We went through fire and water, but you brought us to a place of abundance. You have walked through seasons that felt exactly like that, searing trials and floods of emotion. But the promise is not that you will avoid these things. The promise is that He personally brings you through them, and His destination for you is not another trial, but a place of abundance, a spacious place of enough of provision, of more than just getting by. And there is another promise, a daily one. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies are new every morning. That is from Lamentations 3:22. His love for you is steadfast, which means it is constant, unwavering, and never ever stops. It does not run out. And every single morning, with each new sunrise, His mercy, His compassion, His forgiveness, His unearned kindness is made fresh and new, specifically for whatever that day holds for you. You don't have to use yesterday's supply. So if you've been waiting for a sign, for a clear confirmation that the hardest part is truly behind you, let this moment be it. Let the quiet assurance rising in your heart be the confirmation you've been looking for. You crossed the very place, you survived the specific circumstance that was meant to break you for good. You walked through the darkness that seemed like it would never end. Your presence here, reading this now, is not a random event. It is a living testimony of preservation. Oh gee, that simple, powerful fact means a new chapter of your life has already begun, its first lines being written in ink that cannot be erased. Because of everything you've walked through, all the pain, the resilience, the silent tears, the courage to keep going, you are now allowed, even warmly invited, to rest in a completely new and different way. This is not the kind of restless pause where your body sits down, but your heart stays standing up, tense and alert, anxiously waiting for the next storm to appear on the horizon. That was just catching your breath in the middle of the fight. This is different. This is the kind of rest that comes with a full, soul-deep exhale that you feel all the way to your bones. It happens when something deep inside your spirit realizes, truly knows and accepts that the old battle is finished. Not temporarily paused, not on a brief intermission, not waiting to restart with more intensity. It is finished completely, permanently, and decisively. This doesn't mean that challenges or hard days will disappear from your life. You will still live in a world where things happen, where there are ups and downs. Life will still test you. That is a simple fact of being human. There will be new challenges, new mountains to climb, and new days that feel heavy. This is so important to understand. The specific war that hunted you, the particular struggle that tried to define your life, is over. That war was the one that crept into your thoughts late at night, the one that tried to consume your very sense of self, whispering that you were not enough. It was the battle that worked to weigh you down, day after day, trying to make you forget who you were created to be, loved, worthy, and strong. That exact conflict, that old enemy, no longer has any permission to follow you into this new season. It has lost its pass, its key, its right to be in your presence. That battle has lost all of its authority over your heart, your mind, and your future. You didn't just slip away from it by a lucky accident. You didn't merely hide from it for a little while. You stood your ground, you endured, and you outlasted it. You survived its worst attacks, and you are still standing here. And that single fact, that you outlasted it, changes the entire meaning of this moment you are in right now. This present moment matters deeply more than you may know, because you are not simply turning a page to enter another chapter that looks just like the old ones. You are stepping across a threshold into an entirely new season, and this season is marked by a powerful word: recognition. You are moving into a time of being seen, truly seen, for all you have carried and all you have overcome. But here is the beautiful order of things. Heaven recognized you first. Before anyone on earth could see your worth, heaven saw you. It saw every lonely night when you stayed faithful, when quitting would have been so much easier. It saw every time you chose to carry a difficult truth, to do the right thing, when compromise would have felt so much safer and more convenient. Saw you keep going, putting one foot in front of the other, when there was no applause from the crowd, no pats on the back, and no reassuring voice telling you that you were on the right path. You did it in the quiet, and heaven saw it all. That divine recognition is the foundation of everything new that is coming. And because heaven has recognized you, earthly recognition, the kind you can see and feel, will come in its own perfect time. Doors will open that you did not force. People will see your value who overlooked you before. Opportunities will find you. This will not happen because you suddenly became deserving or because you finally figured out the right formula. It will happen because the timing of your life is finally aligning with the truth you have been living all along. Your character, your faithfulness in the dark, has been building a story that is now ready to be read in the light. Jesus told us the truth about this life when he said, "In this world you will have trouble." He did not promise a path with no obstacles. But then he gave us the reason to have unwavering courage. But take heart. I have overcome the world. That promise is from John 16:33. It means the ultimate victory over every form of trouble, every form of struggle, has already been secured. When he overcame, you in him overcame too. Your personal battles were part of that greater finished work. So you can indeed take heart. You can have courage. The trouble you face now is different because you face it from a place of his victory, not for it. There's something else you can't overlook. As you stand in this new space, this place of hard-won peace, it is vital to understand what this rest truly is and what it is not. It is not a state of laziness or a lack of purpose. It is not checking out from life or your responsibilities. This rest is a profound inward condition. It is the deep soul-level knowledge that you are no longer fighting for your identity or your survival. That war is won. Your value is settled. Your safety is secured in a love that will not let you go. This rest is what allows you to engage with life from a place of fullness instead of desperation, from a place of love instead of fear, from a place of giving instead of constantly needing to prove you are enough. It is the fertile ground from which the new growth of this season will spring. This rest is your inheritance, not your vacation. It is your home base, your command center, the calm eye of the storm where you can hear the gentle voice guiding you forward. It means your energy is no longer spent just trying to stay afloat in a stormy sea. Now your energy can be used to sail, to explore, to build and to move toward the good things that have been waiting for you. This is the profound shift. The exhaustion that came from the old war can finally fade, replaced by a renewable strength for the journey ahead, a journey that is no longer about survival, but about becoming and flourishing. The way you see yourself must shift too. It has to change, because the old way of seeing yourself was formed in the middle of a struggle that is now over. You have been looking at your own reflection through a lens of exhaustion, through the dust of the old battle, and it is time to wipe that lens clean. You don't need to keep replaying in your mind a fight that has already been decided in your favor. There is no benefit to going over the old arguments, the old wounds, the old fears on a loop in your thoughts. That final round has been scored, and you won. You don't need to keep wearing the heavy mental and emotional armor that already served its purpose. That armor protected you when you were in the trenches, and you can be grateful for it. But you are not in the trenches anymore. Carrying it around now only weighs you down and makes you tired. You don't need to move through your days as if danger is always imminent, as if the next blow is just about to land, as if you must constantly scan the horizon for the next threat. That state of high alert was necessary for a time, but its time has passed. No matter what your season of survival taught you, to be small, to be quiet, to be tough, to never let your guard down, you are now allowed to set some of those lessons down. You can unpack that heavy bag you've been carrying. You are allowed to breathe deeply from your belly without that familiar knot of tension in your chest or your shoulders. You are allowed to walk through your life with a new ease, a lightness in your step that doesn't feel the need to constantly explain or apologize for simply being who you are, for taking up space, for existing in peace. If this feeling of peace feels strange, unfamiliar, or even uncomfortable after so many years of endurance, that makes perfect sense. Your nervous system learned to equate constant stress with being safe because at least you knew what to expect. True calm can feel unsettling at first. But God is not asking you to keep proving how strong you are. He is not waiting at the finish line you've already crossed, demanding you run the race again to prove it was not a fluke. He sees your strength and he honors it. But now he is gently, firmly inviting you to do something new, to live like someone who has already made it through, to live from the place of having arrived, not striving to arrive. That one invitation changes absolutely everything about your daily life. It reshapes how you pray. Your prayers are no longer born from sheer urgency, from desperate cries in the middle of an emergency. Now they can flow from a place of settled trust, from conversation with a Father who has already handled the biggest threat. You can talk to him about your hopes, not just your fears. It reshapes how you love others. Your love is no longer guarded by fear, fear of being hurt, fear of being taken advantage of, fear of not being loved back. Now your love can be grounded in your own wholeness. Because you know you are safe and complete in his love, you can love others freely without needing them to fill a void in you. It reshapes how you carry yourself in the world. You no longer have to walk into a room striving to earn your worth, to prove your value, to show you belong. Instead, you can stand Simply stand in the quiet, unshakable certainty that you are already chosen. You were picked out, wanted, and claimed long before you did anything to earn it. This is the shift from a life of proving to a life of resting in what is already true. It means your value is not a question mark. It is a permanent fact signed by heaven. You can stop auditioning for a part you were already given. You can relax into the role of being his beloved child, which requires no performance, only presence. This is the new way of seeing yourself, not as a survivor forever marked by the fight, but as a conqueror learning to live in the wide-open space of a peace that has been won for you. My soul finds rest in God alone. My salvation comes from Him. This is the promise from Psalm 62:1, and it is a truth that is meant for you right now. It means the very core of who you are, the part that feels everything so deeply, can only find true quiet and calm when it is trusting in Him completely. Your rescue from every hard situation, your safety from every fear, your way out of every trap, comes from Him and from no one else. He is your source and your solution. You've been through what feels like a proving ground, a place of intense testing where the pressure was turned up to its highest level. You've walked through fires and floods that were meant to undo you, to break you apart, to make you forget who you are and whose you are. But you were not undone. You are here reading this, and that is a testament in itself. And now today, heaven's declaration over your life is clear and settled. It is not up for debate. It is a finished fact, like a royal decree that has been stamped and cannot be reversed. The announcement from God's own heart to yours is this: you already won. The victory is yours. Let that truth sink in fully. Let it travel past your busy thoughts and down into the quiet, guarded places of your spirit. Let it settle there like a heavy, comforting blanket, warming every part of you that has grown cold from the struggle. The restless feeling that won't let you be still, the doubt that questions every good thing, the constant buzz of anxiety that keeps your eyes scanning for the next battle, these are not your bosses anymore. They do not get to tell you what to do. They are just echoes. They are the faint leftover sounds of a war that has already reached its end. The real fighting is finished. These are just the distant noises that sometimes bounce back to you, trying to trick you into thinking the conflict is still happening, but they don't belong to you anymore. You do not have to accept them, entertain them, or let them make a home in your mind. They are squatters in a house where they have no lease. What belongs to you now as your legal and spiritual inheritance is peace, a peace that is stronger than your understanding. What belongs to you now is freedom, the freedom to be yourself without fear, to make choices from a place of love instead of survival. What belongs to you now is a steady, grounded rest that is woven into your very being. This is not about being lazy or checking out of life. This is about security. It is the kind of soul-deep rest that comes from knowing, beyond any shadow of a doubt, that the foundation beneath you is solid rock. It will hold. It has held you through every single tremor and storm you have ever faced, and it always has and it always will. So in those moments, and they will come, when your old thought patterns try to pull you back into that familiar state of panic, when your heart starts to race with a fear that feels old, you have a new tool, you have a truth to speak. Your job is to gently, firmly remind yourself the war is over. The official record of that conflict is sealed, signed by heaven itself. The final verdict from the judge of all the earth is victory, and heaven's word over you never fails. It does not return to Him without having done exactly what He sent it to do, and He has sent it to settle you, to calm you, to give you a future filled with hope. Please hear this clearly, my dear friend. I know how easy it is to misunderstand this. Rest is not weakness. Choosing to be still is not a sign of defeat. Rest is in fact what true strength looks like after you have fought with everything you have. It takes incredible bravery to finally unclench your fists when you've been holding on so tightly for so long. Think about it. When a long and terrible war has finally come to an end, the soldiers come home, but their bodies and minds don't instantly understand that the danger has passed. You carry that tension in your muscles, in your tightened shoulders, in the way you sleep lightly for a long time afterward. For very good and valid reasons, you learn to stay alert. You learn to brace yourself emotionally for the next problem, the next disappointment, the next rejection, the next betrayal. You learn to anticipate the hurt before it even arrived. That defensive, ready-for-anything posture became your familiar stance. It became your normal way of existing in the world. It became so normal, so routine, that even now, with the hardest and most defining battles clearly in your past, your mind still runs on that old outdated software. It still automatically, habitually scans the horizon of your life, searching for a danger that simply no longer exists in the way it once did. It's like a person who lived through a famine, still hoarding food long after the pantry is full. But God is gently saying to you now, in this quiet moment, you don't have to live like that anymore. The ceasefire is permanent. The all-clear signal has been sounded. You are safe. You are profoundly safe. You are safe to lower your guard. You are safe to take a full, deep, cleansing breath that fills your lungs all the way. You are safe to rest your anxious mind, to rest your tender heart, to rest your weary spirit. He is standing watch over you, and he is inviting you to make a trade, to exchange that exhausting posture of constant readiness for the peaceful posture of a beloved child who knows they are home, protected, and cherished. You get to learn a new normal, and it all begins with this one: courageous act, believing deep down that you are finally safe enough to rest. Rest does not mean doing nothing. It is so important to get this right, because after fighting for so long, your mind might confuse stillness with failure. Rest does not mean you have stopped contributing or that your life has no purpose. Rest means living without the heavy, constant fear that everything you've built, everything you care about, will suddenly collapse the very moment you pause to take a single breath. It means walking through your days without that underlying dread that if you are not constantly holding everything together with your own two hands, it will all fall apart. Rest means finally releasing the heavy weight you have been carrying on your shoulders, the weight of old battles, old sorrows and old expectations, a weight you somehow incredibly already carried all the way past the finish line without even realizing the race was over. You have been walking around with this burden long after you were meant to set it down. Rest in its truest form is trust in motion. It is trusting God with your tomorrow while you peacefully live in your today. It is trusting that your worth is secure even when you are not producing. It is trusting that your foundation is solid even when you are not constantly checking for cracks. Think about it carefully. When someone finally finishes running a marathon, when they cross that line after 26 long miles, no one in the crowd questions whether they have earned the right to sit down. No one points a finger and accuses them of being lazy for needing to catch their breath, for needing to drink some water, for needing to just be still and let their aching body recover. Why does no one question them? Because the effort they gave is undeniable. The proof of their struggle and their victory is written plainly into their exhausted body, into their worn-out shoes, into their tired stride, and most of all, into the immense distance they have already left behind them. Their rest is the direct and rightful result of their hard-fought journey. That's you. That is exactly where you are. You ran a spiritual and emotional distance that others never believed you could survive. You ran through pain, through loneliness, through seasons of sheer confusion. You endured personal storms that were meant to empty you completely, to leave you with nothing left to give, to drain your hope and your joy dry. But you kept running. You kept putting one foot in front of the other, even when you couldn't see the path. The distance you have covered is written into the fabric of your soul, in your resilience, in your quiet prayers, in the wisdom in your eyes that only comes from having weathered hard things. The proof of your journey is undeniable to anyone who really sees you, and most importantly, it is undeniable to heaven. So your rest now is not a sign of inactivity. It is the evidence of a completed work. It is the necessary and honorable pause after a monumental effort. You are not dropping out of the race by resting. You are honoring the fact that you have already finished the most difficult leg of it. This is your time to catch your breath, to let your spirit be refreshed, to drink deeply from the well of peace, because you have absolutely, without question, earned the right to do so through everything you have already endured. And the simple fact that you are still here, reading these words, breathing and holding on, is all the evidence anyone should ever need that your endurance was real. You did not imagine the struggle. You did not make up the weight of what you carried. The proof is in your very presence here today. That's why rest is no longer optional for you. It is not a luxury you can maybe choose if you find the time. It is not a treat for when you finally get everything done. It is necessary. It is as vital to your next season as water is to a plant. It is what repairs the wear and tear on your soul. It is what prepares you quietly and deeply for the good things that are meant to come next in your life. You cannot receive a new chapter with hands that are still tightly clenched from the last one. You need this rest to open your heart and your hands again. This is the gentle, powerful shift you are being invited to make right now. You are not in constant, immediate danger anymore. The alarm bell does not need to ring in your spirit all day, every day. You are not one mistake, one misstep, one missed opportunity away from losing everything you have worked for. That looming fear can be laid down. You are not living under a sentence of endless exhaustion, condemned to a life of just getting by, drained of all joy and color. That old sentence has been overturned. The long, hard fight tried to teach you a lesson. It tried to teach you that survival had to be your core identity, that your main purpose in life was just to make it through to the next day. It defined you as a survivor, which was true for a time, but it is not your forever name. But heaven is now teaching you something beautifully new. A new lesson is being written on your heart. Rest is now your inheritance. It is not something you earn with more work. It is a gift left to you, your rightful share of the promise, because you are a child of God. As Scripture says so clearly, the Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace. That is from Psalm 29:11. Notice the beautiful order here. He gives strength, yes, for the journey, but then he also blesses. He freely gives as a gift his people with peace. This peace is the wrapping around the strength. It is the environment in which your renewed strength is meant to grow. When you truly begin to live from that settled place of rest, when you operate from a spirit that is no longer in emergency mode, absolutely everything begins to change. You will notice subtle shifts first. You'll notice you don't have to rush into conversations or situations to prove your worth anymore. You can speak or be silent without the anxiety of needing everyone to approve of you. You find that the right opportunities, the right connections, the right ideas begin to come toward you with a gentle flow, without you having to frantically chase them down or force doors open. They find you because you are finally rooted in the right place, a place of peace and trust, not desperation and lack. Your value is no longer tied to what you achieve, so you can achieve things from a purer, more joyful place. Your relationships are no longer based on what you can provide in a crisis, so they can deepen in genuine love. This is the fruit of rest. It changes the quality of your entire life. It is the foundation for a new way of being, where you are led by purpose instead of pushed by panic, and where you are guided by a quiet confidence that was never possible when you were living in a state of constant weariness. This is the upgrade that rest brings. It is not an end. It is the necessary beginning of everything new that is waiting for you. You stop running after the voices that never truly saw you. You stop exhausting yourself trying to earn a nod of approval from people who never really looked into your eyes to see the person you are. You end the chase for validation from places that were always empty, from relationships that only took and never gave back the understanding you craved. You stop explaining yourself, your heart, your choices, and your dreams to people who are already committed to misunderstanding you. You realize that your worth is not up for a debate in a court where the jury has already decided against you. You learn to save your sacred energy for the connections that matter, for the people who welcome you as you are. Rest, deep and true rest, has this powerful effect. It completely silences desperation, that frantic, anxious feeling that made you grasp at things and people. That was the last heavy chain still trying to hold you back, to keep you tethered to old cycles of pain and disappointment. When that final chain breaks, because you have chosen to accept peace instead of panic, something beautiful happens. Your spirit finally settles. It is like a leaf that has been tossed in a stormy wind finally floating down to rest on calm water. That stillness is your soul coming home to itself. Now, let's be very clear about what this rest is not. Rest doesn't mean you stop caring about the people you love or the work you are called to do. It doesn't mean you become heartless or lazy. It doesn't mean you walk away from your responsibilities or ignore the needs around you. What it means is something much more freeing. Fear no longer gets to be the boss of your decisions. You are no longer making choices based on a scared voice in your head that whispers, "What if this goes wrong?" or "What will they think?" It means you no longer believe the old, exhausting lie that everything good in your life depends entirely on you pushing harder, trying more, or stretching yourself thinner until there is nothing left of you. That season of striving is over. It means you are finally, and with great relief, letting God carry the heavy burdens He always intended to carry all along. The weight of making everything work out perfectly, the stress of controlling other people, the anxiety about the future, the pain from the past. You are handing over the luggage you were never meant to travel with alone. And please understand, this isn't just a nice metaphor or a pretty picture to make you feel better. It is a real promise from God to you, written down so you would never forget. When you've spent years, maybe your whole life, being wired for survival, when your default setting has been to watch for threats, brace for impact, and protect yourself at all costs, even simple joy can feel suspicious, like it might be a trick. A quiet moment can feel dangerous, like the calm before a storm you're sure is coming. Genuine love or a simple kindness can feel too good to be true, making you want to pull back because you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. That feeling of unease doesn't mean something is wrong with you, or that you're failing at this rest. It just means your body and your logical mind are still catching up to what your spirit already knows is true. They are on a delay, like an old computer system updating slowly. Heaven has already declared the new reality. The battle for your peace, for your identity, for your future is over. Now your human system, your nerves, your thoughts, your emotions, is in the process of learning how to live safely inside that settled truth. So please be incredibly gentle with yourself in this process. You would not yell at a child learning to walk. Don't yell at your heart for learning to rest. You have to practice resting now with the same intention and patience you once practiced fighting. You became good at enduring, at pushing through, at surviving. Now, you must practice being still, letting go, and trusting. Practice receiving kindness, receiving help, receiving peace, the same dedicated way you once practiced persevering through hardship. At first it will feel awkward. You might feel restless or guilty, like you should be doing something more. That's just the old wiring sparking. Keep practicing. Sit in the quiet for 5 minutes. Say a thank you without dismissing a compliment. Allow someone to help you. These are the new exercises for your soul. Over time, as you keep at it, you'll begin to see something amazing. You'll see that this rest doesn't make you soft or weak. Actually, it sharpens you. It makes you more effective, not less. You start to think more clearly because your mind isn't clouded by exhaustion and frantic worry. Solutions come easier when you're not panicking. You begin to love other people more deeply and patiently because you are not running on empty, trying to pour from a cup that's dry. Your love comes from an overflow, not from a deficit. You build a stronger life, stronger relationships, stronger work, a stronger future, because you are not constantly in emergency mode, just trying to repair the latest damage or put out the newest fire. You can build with a plan, with vision, with a steady hand. That's precisely why God is so lovingly insisting on this shift for you right now. He's not just giving you a temporary break before throwing you back into the chaos. He's not offering a short vacation. What He is giving you is sustainability. He is giving you a new way to live that can last, a way that doesn't burn you out or wear you down to a nub. He is replacing the frantic, draining cycle of survival with a sustainable, renewable rhythm of grace. He is teaching you how to live from a place of being filled up so you can live a long, fruitful, and healthy life without collapsing under the weight of it all. This rest is the foundation for everything good that is still to come. It's the solid ground you've needed, so you can finally build something beautiful and lasting, without fear of it all falling apart, the moment you stop holding your breath. This is His upgrade for your life, moving you from a state of constant depletion to a state of sustainable peace. He's showing you in ways you can finally feel that His blessing was never meant to cost you your well-being. God's good gifts and plans for your life were never supposed to come at the price of your peace, your health, or your joy.